Greetings once again, and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst Ofs, the finest in worst of lists in all of our nation. I'm your host for this evening's journey into the center of nothingness. My name's Tom Ado, and what a pleasure it is to be able to be here leading the charge, dismantling a wide array of preconceived notions about a diverse panoply of subject matters and interests as we, one by one, destroy all of the pernicious, mind-bending obfuscations of the power elite as they try to steal our very essence. And by that I mean, if they create a world full of lies, like a living, immersive 3D fairy tale, how can we make choices when everything that we know is based on lies and deceit? I tell you how. We can't. Can't you see the peril? Woo, the peril. It's here. It's up in your grill and you are totally oblivious to it. Because in the absence of being able to make true choices in this world, without the ability to be able to exercise our free will, we aren't human at all. The one characteristic that makes us human more than anything else is not our ability to be able to discern great fashion sensibilities or making a stellar choices about what is the hottest restaurant in town and being able to have the skill sets necessary to wiggle your way into a Friday evening 8 o'clock reservation for 4 at the hottest place in town. That is not the prime directive of the human essence. No, it's free will. God damn it. It boils down to one thing. Everything that we've ever experienced. Free will. The ability to make choices. And if you don't know what the real deal is, the choices are irrelevant. And the absence of relevancy of choices, that means we don't have free will. That means we aren't human at all. We're just these turd bags, like these, when they have like flooding in areas where the largest installation in that area is a toxic waste water plant treatment facility. And so instead of using sands to fill all the sandbags, you're using the human turd in the sandbags. And that's basically what we are. We are bags full of turd waste without free will. Especially you. Me, I rise above it a little bit because of the dynamism of my good looks and sensuality. But anyway, before we get into today's top 10 list is a doozy. An ultra super doozy, ultra mega doozy. Even top 10 worst, believe it or not. Now, I don't know if a lot of you have any capacity to indulge into any knowledge whatsoever that isn't something that is, being shoved into your face in a prioritized way for longer than 24 hours. I have a pretty good suspicion that your ability to draw upon a whole lot of stuff that either hasn't been in the last 24-hour news cycle or hasn't been recently referenced in a cutaway on Family Guy, that you have literally no ability to be able to comprehend anything culturally or historically relevant that's, older than the French loaf baguettes that you bought last Sunday for tea and crumpets. But believe it or not, was I think it started off as a comic strip in the Sunday Funnies, where they'd have like a series of incredulous, inducing, sort of wild, unbelievable elements that they put into the strip. Like, the most famous one was the Lincoln Kennedy coincidences. That was an article where the Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy and Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. And then, of course, there was the Los Angeles Raiders had a offensive tackle by the name of Lincoln Kennedy, which is true. I think mostly. Was he offensive or defensive? I can't remember. But he was an NFL player of a rather high quality, to my recollection. But they'd have all kinds of things, like they'd show you go to, and later on they had these museums where you go to the museum and they'd show you a shrunken head and you'd be like, oh my God, it's a shrunken head. That can't be true. But they'd ask you to, they give you a little story on it. The shrunken head is a member of the Republican National Committee. Highly respected, high-level executive in the I almost said Russian National Committee. Republican National Committee. Same difference. And then on the plaque at the big omnibus goes, believe it or not. So they play you like that. So that's what today's top 10 list is of. It's like stuff that just almost impossible to believe, where we will ask you to believe it or not, but we're doing the worst of them. So, it's mostly stuff that's like real believable. Or completely believable. Believable or not. So what have I got? Oh yeah, I've got number one, I am a total weirdo. So I'll say a lot of things that will be, either opinion or conjecture or reasonably sound and uninformed guesswork. Most of it, which is probably right on the button, pretty good in terms of like the research that I do, but I can't spend the time on doing all the citations and footnotes necessary to be able to prove my work. Either way, this is a great opportunity for a learning exercise, a teachable moment here on Top Table Chefs. Help me. Where you should finally maybe take a role in figuring some of these things out for yourselves. You'd be like, I'll say something like, like totally, wow, and you'll be like, no way. And I'll be like, yes, way. And you'll be like, no way. And I'll be like, go look it up for yourself. And you look it up and you'll be like, whoa. That fat, freaky, long-haired doofus host of the Top 10 Worst was right on the money. And we have to do that for everything now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to postpone your free time. I know you've got tons of backlogged episodes queued up for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt that you've been looking to get around to for what seems like literally for days. But, if you're not going to take responsibility for the world around you, then screw you, buddy. You don't have a right to complain. If you're just like coasting or listening to whatever trusted resource that has been placed in front of you, think about it for just a second. Like, why is it that particular resource has been placed in front of you? Why is it that you ascribe any more meaning or relevance from your resource just because it's placed in front of you? Think about the owners who placed that thing in front of you, what they did and who they were to be able to get access to the mainstream level of distribution. Mainstream level of distribution that I remind you is owned completely as a subsidiary of fascist bastards. Number 2, I'm not partisan. I'm not going to play the game anymore, God damn it. You keep playing the game. It's, Machiavelli 101. And, it's working like a charm. You really should be proud of yourselves for the level of, ease that you've allowed our masters and overlords to be able to, really be on the brink of not just overthrowing the governments of the world, but also, probably eliminating the entire human race and replacing us with AI, artificially intelligent cybernetic robots. Hi, how are you? It's worked like a charm. All of this bitterness and spreading hate and everything like that's been going on for the last 25 years, been really productive 25 years. And it's not just because you got one thing after another of all these obvious inside jobs, like one thing after another, 9/11 and then the Patriot Act, and there's just, exactly note for note hitting everything that the Enabling Act did after the burning of the Reichstag in 1933, gave them carte blanche to be able to pass laws that allowed dictatorial governments to overthrow the civil right protections of Republican forms of government. And then you get, the Afghani war, then the Iraq war, and then you get the Great Recession, and then you get... Sorry, I was stuck in a loop there. We get all kinds of nastiness, don't you? Relentless basis. And it's just almost like, why? What have I done? How can this happen to me? I don't have time to just sit around and enjoy a 5-hour binge of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Oh, I'm winded. All right, so before we get on with it, though, a lot of people have been writing in complaining, and that's like, who the hell comes up with this stuff? I mean, they're really, sort of casting a vicious side eye towards me in some of these correspondables that you've been sending in, and I'm thinking wow, this is really sucks. Fetid summertime 5K fun run ass on a relentless basis. And so I'm these lists are clinically prepared in a sterile crucible of a laboratory environment put together by a team of former Miss Parallel Universe competition runners-up who gather with me outside of Taos, New Mexico, and take copious doses of peppermint schnapps mixed with amyl nitrate to come up with these lists. And one other thing before we get going, you know what it is? It's everybody's least favorite segment. It's time for the commercial sponsors. And we've got from the producers of Dumb and Dumber comes Saddam and Dumber, the tale of George Bush Jr. going up and duking it out with Saddam Hussein. And then, of course, from the producers of Dr. Dolittle, is Dr. Dolittle as one sort of pathetic washout of a underwhelming a gentleman who's underwhelming in the codpiece department, who can also talk to animals. It's Dr. Dolittle. And then there's, of course, Global Warming Titanic, a sequel to Titanic in the global warming era, where the iceberg that the ship hits is only the size of a small ice cube, representing a shameless cash grab from Hollywood. As Hollywood and society become increasingly ignorant and incapable of creative thought, the remake and reboot has made its way into the lexicon of Hollywood pics, using the easily recognizable product name to get the project green lighted. Then came the prequel, where we could actually see what had previously been considered non-essential exposition passed off as some form of second-rate quasi-regurgitated movie plot. Now you have yet another form of Hollywood plot recycling device. That's thanks to the new major motion picture, Global Warming Titanic. Here we have a movie that simply revisits the exact plot of the famous film and repurposes it, almost a reboot, not in remake form, but slightly altering a plot device so that the story goes in a completely different and oftentimes hilarious direction. Global Warming Titanic, the plot from the box office smash version of the earlier Titanic, is followed verbatim, the only difference being that the iceberg that the ship hits has been shrunken by the effects of global warming into the size of a tiny ice cube. The ice cube in turn harmlessly bounces off the hull of the gigantic ship, which continues along its merry way, none for the worse of wear and tear. This might seem like a boring premise for a movie, but not a lot of people have enough remnants of any capacity of independent thought or the skill sets to ingest complicated plots and in-depth characters to do anything more complex. They get confused and glassy-eyed. Like, what happened to my monogamous heterosexual coupling happy ending idiom? There's going to be so much controversy over this movie as to whether or not global warming exists that it'll practically promote itself. A good idea with, I mean, don't take my word for it. I want you to just keep living life the way you are. I think the most important element of global warming and climate change is not the fact that they're coming up with 20 different artificial names that are obviously made up, stupid, cornball names that, like some improv troupe came up with. Derecho. Here comes the derecho. Yes, and then you got El Nino and La Nina. Once they have the La Pinta and La Santa Maria. Atmospheric rivers. We're going to be suffering from the atmospheric rivers. The rivers is the atmospheric rivers. I think that's a song by Glenn Campbell from back in the 60s. And then there's tons of them out there. A mushy tuna, which is for a hot wind that blows in from New Jersey. And there's also Spankopita breezes, which are like grease trails that form on behind people's asses when it gets really hot and humid out. No, but you know what I'm saying? It's like they come up with all this stuff to just sort of like pretend that there's not any climate change going on, and they like pass it off like, what is it? They got one about snow, like a power tornado or snow-nado or something crazy. I mean, it's just like so profoundly dumb. Wait, hang on a second. I've got to get it to you because, a lot of people have been asking when I go off on these tangents, why can't you actually remember all the stuff that you're talking about? Derecho. I'll look up derecho. Oopsies, I spelled it wrong on my little thing. A Slurpee groins. That's a good one. Thunder snow. That's the one I was trying to think of. Atmospheric rivers. None of this stuff existed at all when I was a kid. And I'm, like old, but I'm not like 1,000 years old. Spum guzzlers. That didn't exist. Weather, I mean, it's like, and then they come up with all these abomogenesis. I think that's one, or bomb cyclones, that's what it is. Bomb cyclones. No such thing as a bomb cyclone. It's just some term that they slapped on top of something to cover for the impact of extraordinarily powerful storms that have been happening, all of them tied in with the massive amount of climate change. And they come up with all these names and like, oh, wow, it's an El Derecho. Ding, 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 ding. That's the sound of your brain trying to come up with its first original thought. Nipple dusters. It's all faked. Pre-chewed yuts. And now they've got these terms like they're like, they're just so successful covering up for climate change because of the idiot factor, that they're rolling it out to other elements of psychological warfare that they're waging against us, like mansplaining. Mansplaining isn't a thing. And there's lots of people who are like know-it-alls, and know-it-alls. It's the same thing that they're trying to describe with mansplaining without the derogatory anti-male hate element over and all these people that come in like why don't you make fun of people with words and hurtful words, and then they come in like they're the first people who are throwing mansplaining on top of people. There's no such thing as mansplaining. It's know-it-all. You're a know-it-all. They just changed the term to make you feel more hatred for others. And you were like fine with it. Like, oh yeah, well, it makes sense. Man spreading. Like no woman has ever spread their legs on a public bus bench before. I mean, okay, if you want to live like that, if you want to live out the rest of your life, great. It's done so many beneficial things to our society over the years. Hate you. Global warming Titanic. Come get some. All right, here we go. So now let's move along to the top 10 worst of Believe It or Not. Let's see if you can pick up on exactly what I meant when I was trying to went to such painstaking lengths to be able to try to explain what this thing is to you, because you're just such a brain dead, mouth breathing, drooling life support system for a hairdo. Here we go. Number 10 of the top 10 worst Believe It or Not. Believe it or not, Martha Stewart doesn't huff a life-threatening dose of airplane modeling glue fumes prior to taping her horrifically bad TV show. Whoa! Coming out swinging right out of the box. Yeah! Martha Stewart. Wouldn't you just love to see Martha Stewart skydiving and her parachute doesn't open? I shouldn't be joking about that. 12 people just died from a parachuting accident. Well, anyways, their stupid fault for doing crazy, reckless stuff during these dark ages of ours. I'm going with the joke. It would be hysterical to watch Martha Stewart plummet to her death because her parachute didn't open. It'd be even funnier if it was on one of those jumps that they do where they just have the parachute in their hand and they jump and they throw the parachute up. Base jumping. Because it'd be faster. Like, she wouldn't have time to reconcile herself with her impending death and splatterment on the pavement. So very funny in general. Martha Stewart is just one of those spineless sellouts that you watch her and suck all the life out of people like some kind of good housekeeping succubus. We've got a tremendous recipe for Thanksgiving today. We're going to stuff your turkey full of man load. Stuff your turkey full of man load here today on Martha Stewart's Living Dead. That should be, I should jot that down for one of my commercial sponsors. This Friday on Martha Stewart's Living Dead, we will stuff the Thanksgiving turkey full of juicy man load. We'll make butter out of my husband's breast milk. And so the internet, the dark web. Number 9 of the top 10 words, believe it or not. Believe it or not. One time during a high pollution day, the sky and the horizon of the LA basin appeared to be grayish. Believe it or Nazi. I used to do believe it or Nazi was one of my gimmicks from way back. It was just a little bit too harsh during those times, but I think now people are maybe ready for it. Back when I was doing believe it or Nazi like 15, 20 years ago, people were like, how dare you talk about Nazism in America like it's, oh, you fiendish drip. Now look at me. People can't get enough of the whole Nazism in America. Give me some dead Jews. Let's kill some Jews. And that's the liberals. Let's go kill some Jews and then we'll go home for supper. Let's vote for, who's that guy? That guy with the Nazi tattoo on his chest. And it's like a big military historian. It's like, I don't know. Was it the Nazi tattoo? Are you kidding me? No. I didn't know that stuff. Well, there's a Tom Turkey. What is that guy's name? Jeez, why am I so difficult with these? My brain is getting... Maybe it's the humidity. It's, I don't know, it's 79 degrees now in here. God damn it. Maine Senator... I know you're probably all going like, hurry up, it's so-and-so, and you're like, not the, of course it gives me the Susan Collins one. Tim, candidate. Who's this freaking maniac guy? Oh yeah, it's abusive. Well, here, look at him, Plantner. Yeah, that guy looks like a real normal, progressive type. That guy's going to be burning Jews and toss them in the ovens. He'll be like right at the front line going, come on, boys, let's toss them in the ovens. They're not going to cook themselves. Plantner. Oh, yeah, so I beat up a bunch of women. This is PTSD. P is for all the people I've hit. T is for the terrible openness to the uppercut. S is for the sickening ways I've acted. D is for the deleterious effects that I've had on women in my relationships. PTSD is for me. I'll blame all my rage and crimes against humanity. PTSD. Everybody, sing with me. PTSD. A planter, let's kill some Jews. They'll be like, what's that? Howard, what's his guy's name? Oh, God, I gotta look him up again, too. And I just heard his name. Howard Dean. Yeah! You know that when he ruined his presidential campaign or whatever the hell it was? Everybody's like, oh, Howard Dean, look at this guy, a fresh breath of fresh air. The Democratic Party, actually somebody who seems to, care and knows what he's talking about. And then he does this one thing when he won a primary or lost a primary or something. He just, in front of the camera, just goes, ah! And people are like, oh. That's like Plantner going, celebrating the opportunity to throw some Jews into Zyklon B oven. Is that what it is? Zyklon B? Zyklon B with PTSD makes such a great combination for me. Gas them up, burn them down. Jews, 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 Jews dead. I'm Plantner. Vote Plantner for a gas chamber in every garage. You know that guy is going to be killing Jews. Just look at him. Nazi tattoos, beating up women, abusing them verbally and otherwise. Dressing up like, what's his name? Steve Fetterman, Boise, a guy from Pennsylvania Fetterman of the Pennsylvania Fetterman. Hi, I'm Jackie Fetterman of the Pennsylvania Fettermans. I'll be the senatorial candidate. No, I'll vote for things that have nothing to do with liberal values or progressive ideals or helping the working class get some representation in some sort of power apparatus, consolidated institution somewhere along the lines of something. Goddamn it, Joel Fetterman, what's his name? With his stupid little sweatshirt and that little chin duster, whatever you call those things. I mean, I've read some of the stuff that Plantner apparently is not fighting. Is like sort of agreeing to things that he's being accused of, and he's just, yeah, I did that. I totally did that. We did the hell out of that. But everybody on the Democrat Party is like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about that. As long as we beat Susan Collins, yeah, I'm helping. Let's march. I'm helping. Let's march. Let's march. We're marching. We're helping. So full of immense amounts of abilities to be completely clueless and to prioritize all the wrong things and to see arguments and goals in a perspective that's so toxic and skewed that you wonder how these people could possibly make their way through another day's worth of just day-to-day living, let alone making these extremely consequential choices about the future of our humanity. And I'm not saying that to be like pro-Republican, because Republicans are joining in on the chorus with Mr. Plantner and his "Let's kill some Jews" rock opera. It's like let's do take off on the producers. Led by Plantner. Instead of springtime for Hitler, it'll be springtime for Himmler, where they talk about all the, like it's getting too dark for me even, but it's all true, man. That this guy, this Plantner guy, it represents some really, really dark and horrific turn. Like all of a sudden you're like starting to excuse, like really incendiary and violent looking people with a past of abusing women. Just 2 years ago we were talking about how all these Supreme Court justice nominations were abusing women. You're like, we got to look into this. We got to weed this stuff out. It goes all the way back really to Clarence Thomas when he was being adjudicated by the Senate. That Anita Hill came out and said that he used to put pubic hairs on the lip of my Coke cans at work. Now, I get it. Like a lot of people come out and say, well, that's just a partisan hack. It's awfully convenient that she would come out now when he's right in the middle of the Senate confirmation hearings and say that she was putting a pubic hairs on her Coke can. But number one, is Coca-Cola paying for conspicuous product placement in these Supreme Court hearings? Number two, who would take a pubic hair when the perfectly good sideburn hair would work and make it a lot easier to obtain on the fly? It's like, who would come up with that as an excuse? No matter what, you're forever going to be associated in job interviews, in life in general, as the lady with the pubic hair on her coffee can, on her Coke can, or, Diet Mr. Pibb. Why would you have a life like that unless somebody's like paying you off like in a big way? And if that's the case, then it's just like, well, what are we even bothering for? Why come up with the stories? Why go through the motions of all this stuff? Let's just admit that these guys are habitual sociopath criminals and just let them do whatever they want. We'll just roll over and play dead. Why waste the time and the money? If they're covering up to the point where they're paying off Anita Hill to say, he put pubic hairs on my Coke can so that it could give the appearance of the Democrats undermining the confirmation of a Supreme Court justice, just because the appearance of them doing something, dirty tricks to try to provide subterfuge to his nomination. It's just like so many degrees of convolutedness that it just, gets to the point where you just what are you bothering for? Just go get on with, do your thing. Don't involve us. Don't report on it. Just do your freaking thing. Just tell us how much money you need us to give you, and let's get on with our lives. Why go through all the stupidity? And you know that this stuff is on the level because nobody would make up stuff like that. Hi, yes, hi, my name's Anita Hill. You might remember me from the pubic hair on my Coke can incident during the Supreme Court nomination hearings. But I don't always get recognized. That's why I bring American Express. Number 8 of the top 10 worst, believe it or not. Believe it or not, an athlete one time set a record for being the fastest at doing something. Believe it or not. See, these are the worst, believe it or not. Get it? Anybody? All right, number 7 of the top 10 worst, believe it or not, of all time. Believe it or not, a student recently used AI to write a school report for a class assignment and got away with it. Oh dear. Dun, dun, dun. Horns make great bongs in a pinch. What do I got for you? I don't know. It's like so many things going on right now in the world today. It's really kind of difficult to see any of the stuff from the things that happened where they had those things and they did things. And I don't know if you were part of it, but they happened. The mayor in the movie Jaws, okay, he's like, he presented evidence that a significant predatory shark is taking up residence in the waters outside his sleepy little burg and eating swimmers at a voracious pace. The hair is just the humidity in here. See, it's not even. There we go. This looks like I got pigtails without the rubber bands. That's a little better. And so, like, this first lady gets killed. I'm like, okay, well, it's just the first lady gets killed. And then, the sheriff says, no, look, we're going to have to shut this down. And the mayor's like, no, I'm sorry, dude, but we shall not be abiding by your attempted unilateral decision-making process. And he reopens it, and a little small boy gets killed, and then the lady slaps Chief Brody, and then he opens up the beaches again. And more kids are terrorized, and more people die. And then they finally get around to doing the sequel, Jaws 2, and the same guy is the freaking mayor. I mean, look, and I'm not expecting people to be able to, act like responsible human beings at any point at this juncture whatsoever. But this was back in the 70s when they did these movies, and they still had that same guy as mayor after all the death that he caused. and how miraculous it was that these guys, Quint, had to go out and like sacrifice his life in order to stop the shark. Now he could have called in the bigger boat. We need to get the bigger boat. We need the bigger boat. Quinty, look at the boat. Oh, yes, in Indianapolis in the second, the third. Oh, yes, I gotta put another life jacket on. Oh, 351 men in the water. 2.5 came out. Sharks at the rest. July the 15th, 1945. They delivered the bomb. Oh, the shark has bit me through my torso. The torso level. Incision. Hooper. Hurry up, Hooper. It's got me by the torso. Quint's dead, right? Because the mayor won't act, like, oh, we'll send out this rickety old boat for a shark that they anticipate being 25 feet long. We'll send a boat, this ancient old rickety boat that's about 4 feet long. And one guy who knows how to sound sharks, some collegiate know-it-all nerd type who's going out there with a shark cage that bends like tinfoil with one pass of this gigantic great white. And Chief Brody, who can't swim, hates the water. That's the force that they muster. And then Quint dies. And the shark dies just by a miraculous lucky shot. Smile, you son of a bitch. Chief, I'm with the Indianapolis. It's your thing. That's Betty Ann McCrae broke my heart. And it's a torso level incision. I'll never put on a life jacket. Quick, Chief, get me a life jacket. Woo. And there he is, the mayor. Jaws 2 is the same guy. Chief Brody, let's throw a bunch of children into the shallow water where sharks like to attack. It's just to see what happens. God damn it. I gotta finish this up. I'm in serious pain. All right, so here we go. Number 6. Oh, damn it. Top 10 worst. Believe it or not, it's of all time, number 6. Oh, believe it or not, a corporation wound up having a dangerous chemical in the production of their products that hurt and even killed many of their customers, but they didn't care because they made a big profit. Believe it or not. Get a big boat. Chief, it's the wound. The torso is deeply compromised. Big boat. Torso. Chipotle. Hot soup. Corporations using dangerous chemicals. Pshaw. Humbug even. Would never do that. Corporations never do that to us. That's a low rent, believe it or not. Number 5, the top 10 worst, believe it or not, of all time. Believe it or not, the record for the longest case of restive Kesha face belongs to Kesha. The longest case of restive Kesha face. The longest case of restive Kesha face. That's not actually an easy phrase. I'm not going to blame myself for not getting it right two times. It belongs to Kesha. Oh, the bad hand. It's the bad hand. Number 4, believe it or not, Bill Nye, the science guy, is pure evil and is secretly the head of ExxonMobil Corporation and is a stock position of at least 12% ownership in 6 of the world's leading defense contractors. Additionally, he feeds exclusively on rare animals and endangered species. Bill Nye the Science Guy is not a nice guy. There's all kinds of rumors and stuff that I've made up over the last 4 or 5 months that are just extremely distasteful about him having compromised photos while canoodling with a rather small test tube And these are not, the other science guy, what's his name? I could handle that guy. There's only two science guys. They whittled it down as much as possible. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He seems okay, although I saw him on Hot Ones, and I got to tell you, I was not impressed. It seemed like a little bit of a screw loose there on Neil deGrasse Tyson. But he also, at the same time, kind of seems a lot more sort of like chill than Bill Nye the Science Guy, who I think is the person responsible for surprising the magician Harry Houdini with the gut punch that wound up killing him. If I remember, I can't remember exactly. Number 3, top 10 worst believe it or nots of all time. Believe it or not. A mysterious box has nothing inside it. Believe it or not. Yes. Chief Brody. Indianapolis. 753 men went drink. 2.4 came out. Sharks at the rest. July 15th, 19th, with a torso. It's still, they just got me in those shark things and shit. Whoa. They just got me in the torso and spinning me around. Chief, get the bigger boat. Can you put the radio back together, Chief? Number two, believe it or not, a group of small baby ducks sipped gently from a pool of water. Believe it or not. We're top 10 worst, believe it or not. That's what is the worst, believe it or not. It's like stuff that totally believable, okay? That's the gimmick. Keep that in mind. All you people are just trying to go like, that was but ducks sipping from a pond. This guy's freaking lost it. Which I wouldn't dispute, even if you brought up charges like that. I don't think I would. I mean, I might, if the situation's warranted. But, ordinarily, I think my organic impulse would be just like, oh, yeah, well, I have lost it. I am losing it. If you're not losing it at this point, then you're doing something. You're not doing something wrong. You need a meds adjustment. Too sweet. And number 1 of the top 10 worst, believe it or not, of all time, urine jokes are not edgy. Big about. Chief. Thrash a shark. Well, what an incredible time we've had here. The top 10 worst stuff. I think that's easy to see why top 10 worst stuff has become such an incredible destination for so many derelicts and people suffering from the long-term effects of dehydration. Coming up next time on Top 10 Worst Stuffs, I tease it out for you because it's just so incredibly exciting. I wouldn't want anybody to miss it. It's top 10 worst times to change the drugs inside your child's EpiPen. So don't miss a minute of it. Join us again for next time of the top 10 worst stuff lists, as I will guide you to higher levels of enlightenment than you've ever even dreamed possible. Thanks very much. Oh, yeah, by the way, we've got our sponsor for the charity